I'm joined now by Cheng Li. He's the director of the John L. Thornton China Center. He's a senior fellow in the Foreign Policy Program at the Brookings Institution, a think tank that's based here in Washington, D.C. The call comes after some rather stilted meetings in Alaska and China between these lower-level officials. So just how important was this call?
Well, it's very, very important. You mentioned the early meetings. Certainly, the Alaska dialogue was a disaster. Among these senior diplomats, there's no trust, no respect. Some Chinese even criticized that the U.S. as a host, even no decency. Now, then later, Wendy Sherman, Deputy Secretary's visit to Tianjin was much better, and she also showed the condolence for Zhengzhou flood. And also, according to Foreign Minister of China, the Xie Vice Minister, and I think that both sides lay out the areas of disagreements, but also discuss a possible area of cooperation. Now, John Kerry's recent visit, he visited Tianjin also just a week ago. I would say it's successful because this visit actually led to this phone call. Now, Biden and Xi Jinping certainly are the head of states. Both of them know each other very well. They met 11 times. And also the discussion lasted 90 minutes. So it's similar to the Spring Festival meeting that they had a long and in-depth discussion. Now, this reminds us U.S.-China relations, despite all the deterioration in recent months, it's not a free fall, like as some scholars describe. Actually, the 40 years engagement, cooperation at various levels, including head of state, now really come to that both sides understand we need to communicate, we should engage each other. So the cooperation in the areas in which both countries' interests converge, this is the theme, this is the main outcome. Now they already focused on two areas, climate change and also stability and anti-terrorism in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. If this becomes successful, they will also spill over to other areas, including trade, economic cooperation, but also COVID-19. So I think these are the current two areas, climate change and Afghanistan. Yeah, we should pay more attention in these two areas.
And to your point, we remember well Barack Obama and President Xi coming together in Paris with the climate accords there. COP is coming up in Glasgow in Scotland. That's in November. Do you think this is an area where the two of them can also come together and suddenly we can start seeing some headway?
Well, I'm certainly more optimistic than most others because this is a vital interest for both countries, for international community as well. If the U.S. really wanted to improve its cooperation with European countries, because European countries are very much into this climate change. Now, what happened in the U.S. and in China over the past months or a couple of years, you see the natural disaster one after another. This is related to climate change, particularly California fires, Texas flood, Zhengzhou flood, and also water level changes in Florida. The same things could also be said in China. I think as the two major great powers, economic powers in the world, they are responsible to do more in terms of climate change before too late. So I think that that's the common interest. But also at the same time, that certainly there's different views in the United States. Also some of the barriers that come from some Republicans, they deny climate change and etc. Now, for China also, they want to see that if China, of course, it's China's interest, but at the same time, a lot of challenges for China. So you cannot treat China as an enemy, but at the same time ask China's help in this area, and particularly in Afghanistan, in the trade areas.
Yeah, let me ask you briefly, if you can. We know that President Xi went to Mar-a-Lago, and then, of course, Trump went to Beijing. And, of course, we remember the Sunnylands short-sleeve diplomacy between Obama and Xi. We haven't seen these two leaders get together. You expect that at any time in the near future?
Well, probably not in Italy for the G20 meeting, because of the coronavirus situation. Chinese said that maybe it's the only side, maybe in a Zoom meeting. But I think sooner or later, when the COVID-19 allows, I do believe these two leaders will meet each other. Could be in each other's country, but probably in the current atmosphere, maybe still in international meeting.
Cheng Li, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for your insights.